Hi, and welcome back to Focal Point, AFR Talk. Bryan Fischer is my name. The program is Focal Point. The network is AFR Talk, the most feared and dangerous radio network in all of America. Going to play my interview with Carol Costello from CNN here in just a moment, so hang on for that. I want to get two quick phone calls, and then we'll jump into my CNN appearance yesterday. Let's go to Jerry, Richmond, Virginia. Jerry, you're on Focal Point with Bryan Fischer. Talk to me, my man.
Hey, Bryan. I enjoy your show. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make a statement, and I think you'll be able to share or expand on this. With all due respect to the office of the presidency, Barack Obama has done a very poor job in leading our country, representing our country, but he's done an excellent job in misleading people in this country. And I think that if Mitt Romney can just hang in there, and if folks like you and instrumentalist individuals who care about this nation will just begin to be more forthright about presenting the facts to people who are ignorant of the facts, then they will be better equipped to vote, to be a leader in their community, in their home, wherever they are, in their business. And that's what I want to see happen. I want to see people stand up and take responsibility.
All right, Jerry, listen, I appreciate that, and thank you for the call. One of the problems with the debate like last night, I've gone through 5 of the top 8 lies that President Obama told. I still got 3 more to go. I'll get to those before the program's over, so hang tight. But this is just 8 out of what could have been an even longer list. And people who just listen and don't have alternative media like Focal Point, AFR Talk, and other conservative outlets don't know they've been lied to. I mean, that's part of being deceived. You don't even know you've been fooled. And so that's why it's important to call these people on their lies and be sure we tell the truth. And we're doing that with Governor Romney, and we're going to do that with Barack Obama. Barack Obama hit Mitt Romney last night on his flip-flop on coal, and he's exactly right. We played the soundbite. Mitt Romney stood in front of a coal-fired plant and said, these plants kill people. I'm not going to support energy that kills people, and coal-fired plants kill people. Said that twice in 30 seconds. We played the soundbite during the primary. Well, now Mitt Romney's out there, and he's Mr. Coal. He's the biggest friend that coal's ever had in the history of carbon. Well, he flip-flopped on that, and we called him on it at the time, and Barack Obama was absolutely right to bring that up last night in the debate. Let's go to Mark, driving through Arkansas. Mark, welcome to Focal Point with Bryan Fischer. Talk to me.
Thank you, Bryan. I appreciate you taking my call. I love your show.
Thank you very much.
Just wanted to make a comment on the debate. I know I'm just a dummy that the liberal left has to think for me and tell me what I think, but I did take 12 years of English in primary school, and I had 2 years in college, and adjective placement in that final part of the Rose Garden speech does not support either the moderator malfeasance or the president's twist to cover it up, because if he was calling it an act of terrorism, that last statement would have said this act of terror instead of no acts of terror.
Yes. All right. That's very good. All right. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. And that's exactly right. President Obama obviously talking very generically, acts of terror, plural, well after he had talked specifically about the attack in Benghazi, blaming it on mob reaction. Now, we'll take some phone calls. Want to get your response. We're going to get right to the Carol Costello. I was on CNN yesterday with Carol Costello talking about Southern Poverty Law Center. They've got a mix-it-up day, which sounds good, sounds innocuous on the surface, but it's designed to be a battering ram to push the homosexual agenda into public schools. That's really what it's all about, because the SPLC, their website that's sponsoring this thing, is all about sexual orientation, and it's all about what's going to be done to people who insult anybody based on sexual orientation or any speech that could be interpreted to be hurtful to people of sexual orientation, what's to be done with them, how they're to be denounced publicly over the loudspeaker system. This is all about pushing the homosexual agenda into schools. And Carol Costello brought me on to talk about AFA's response to this. Here's how our exchange go. I especially want you to listen to toward the end. We'll take some phone calls about what you think about how she handled herself in this interview. Let's listen. This is me with Carol Costello, CNN yesterday.
Mix It Up at Lunch Day is an anti-bullying project that began 11 years ago. More than 2,500 schools across the country now participate in the program, with October 30th, a day usually set aside for it. But the American Family Association wants parents to keep their children home that day, saying the program promotes a gay lifestyle. Bryan Fischer is the director of issue analysis for the American Family Association. He joins us by phone. Welcome.
Thank you, Carol. Good to be with you.
Mix It Up at Lunch appears to be a lesson in intolerance. As a religious leader, what's wrong with that?
Well, what parents need to understand about this program is it's a thinly veiled attempt to push the normalization of homosexual behavior in public schools and to eventually punish students who would express a Judeo-Christian view of sexuality. So it appears to be innocent and innocuous on the surface, but the hidden agenda, if you look at the website tolerance.org, is primarily about pushing sexual orientation and acceptance of alternative sexual behaviors.
So are you saying that merely sitting beside a gay person will promote a gay lifestyle?
No, but what parents need to understand, this is about pressuring public schools and students in public schools to accept homosexuality as a normal, healthy alternative to heterosexuality. You know, it's interesting to me that they're doing this on October 30, the day before Halloween, and what this program is, it's like poison Halloween candy. Somebody takes a candy bar, injects it with cyanide. The label looks fine, it looks innocuous, it looks fine. It's not until you internalize it that you realize how toxic it is, and we want parents to be aware that any program that comes from the Southern Poverty Law Center is going to be toxic to their students' moral health.
Well, on its website, the Southern Poverty Law Center urges students to move out of their comfort zones and connect with someone new over lunch. There's absolutely no mention of homosexuality at all, and this program's been going on for 11 years.
Well, that's fine, Carol, and if they want to say it's not about homosexuality and all, then what we would challenge the SPLC to do is issue a disclaimer. Just put a disclaimer right on their webpage. Mix It Up Day should not be construed as an endorsement of homosexual behavior, and Mix It Up Day will not infringe on any student's right to raise serious moral and health questions about homosexual behavior.
They're trying to promote tolerance to all students who may be different, so I don't think that the Southern Poverty Law Center would put a disclaimer like that. And also, the Southern Poverty Law Center, the Southern Policy Law Center is called your organization, the American Family Association, a hate group, and some might say that's really what's motivating you.
Well, the reality is, though, Carol, is that what the Southern Poverty Law Center is about punishing and intimidating and silencing Christian students who would take a conservative view of human sexuality. So in reality, Southern Poverty Law Center is out to bully students who have conservative moral values into silence. The head of the Southern Poverty Law Center, Mark Potok, has said that their mission is to destroy pro-family organizations like the AFA and the Family Research Council.
Well, Mr. Fischer, I think that the Southern Policy Center could turn the tables on you. Because in the past, I'm just going to read to our viewers what you have said in the past. This is from a radio webcast from September of 2010. You have said, Hitler recruited homosexuals around him to make up his stormtroopers. They were his enforcers. They were his thugs. Hitler discovered he could not get straight soldiers to be savage and brutal and vicious enough to carry out his orders, but that homosexual soldiers had no limit to the savagery and brutality they were willing to inflict on whoever Hitler sent them after. That spells agenda to me.
Well, Carol, what I would encourage you to do is read a book by Lothar Machtan. He's a German historian, well-respected, secular German historian, who has written a book called The Hidden Hitler.
But we're talking, sir,
that same thing.
We're talking, sir, about hate speech, and by most people's standards,
and that he recruited stormtroopers to be his enforcers. That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what this noted German historian has said. I'd encourage you to read his book, The Hidden Hitler, Lothar Machtan.
I would think most historians would take issue with that. But what I'm saying to you is that, by many people's standards, would be hate speech.
Well, but the reality is, it's the Southern Poverty Law Center. They're out to destroy the AFA and FRC. That makes them the bullying group. That makes them the hate group. They're the ones that want to silence any view that would criticize the normalization of homosexual behavior. And we know from the CDC and from the FDA, not part of the vast right-wing conspiracy, that homosexual behavior has the same health risks associated with it.
That's just not true. I'm gonna end this interview now, sir. I'm sorry, because that's just not true. Mr. Fischer, thanks for sharing your views.
Carol Costello throwing me off the CNN network. Simply not true. We've been over it. You know the statistics. CDC, same risk with homosexual behavior you get with intravenous drug use. FDA can't donate blood if you're a male who's had sex one time with another male since 1977. So that's my interview with CNN. 888-589-8840 if you want to give a reaction to it. 888-589-8840. Let's grab a couple of calls. Go to Jerry, Richmond, Virginia. Jerry, you're on Focal Point with Bryan Fischer. What's your reaction to the CNN interview?
Well, you know, Bryan, I mean, they're going to silence us no matter how, they're going to do the best that they can to silence us. My concern, Brother Fisher, and this has been a deep, almost heartbreak of mine because so many fellow Americans have died to give me the right to vote. But as an evangelical, I'm very, very concerned, Brother Fisher, that this election that conservative radio is supporting, by omission almost, evangelicals to vote for somebody who does not believe in the Trinity, does not believe that Christ is the full Godhead and fully man, that equates Christ with an archangel, and that this is being promoted by conservative radio that calls themselves evangelical.
Well, Jerry, let me just interject here because that's a little bit off the topic of the interview. But I want to be sure, Jerry, that you understand that I wouldn't talk any Christian out of voting his conscience on this presidential election. If a Christian has conscience reservations about voting for a member of the Mormon Church, I have no problem with that. I'm not going to try to convince them otherwise. It's a matter of conscience for them. I'm going to respect that. I'm going to encourage them to vote their conscience. And I think you need to do the same thing, Jerry. You need to understand that there may be many Christians who agree with you about the theological differences, but do not have a conscience problem in voting for the lesser of two evils. Well, thanks, Jerry. I appreciate the call. Let's go to Jesse in Green Hill, Tennessee. Jesse, you're on Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Oh, well, I just wanted to make the point that the SPLC is promoting tolerance, not necessarily acceptance. There's a difference between tolerance and acceptance.
No, they're promoting acceptance. They want people to accept the homosexual lifestyle or else. They're not promoting diversity. They're promoting monoculturalism. You have to subscribe to the homosexual agenda or you will be silenced or you will be punished. They are not about diversity. They are about intolerance. They are not about multiculturalism. They are about monoculturalism, and that is there's no room for a diversity of view on human sexuality.
Well, in schools, kids can't articulate their views on human sexuality yet.
Well, that's exactly why. That's exactly why we got to keep SPLC out of the public schools. That's exactly why we got to do it, Jesse. Parents have to be on guard to protect vulnerable young children from being deceived about these very, very important issues. That's why we are raising concerns about the Southern Poverty Law Center. Well, Jesse, I got to go up against a hard break. Appreciate the call. Thank you for weighing in. Focal Point, AFR Talk, Bryan Fischer. We're going to be back with Alex McFarland, a brand new book he's written on how to respond to atheists. Have a conversation with atheists about God. Back with Alex in 2. Stay with us.